Hello, and welcome to the Movie Universe. I'm your host, Movie Fan. Today, I'll be talking about Jaws, one of the most legendary films made by Steven Spielberg. Now, I could describe the movie itself, but in the words of my friend Alpha Lion Simba, you've already seen it. There isn't too many people who have not seen this movie at all, because it is a classic in the whole horror genre. And it's legendary for its great cast starring Roy Scheider, Richard Dreyfuss, and Robert Shaw. Great combination. And of course, there was the shark himself. When this movie came out, it scared the hell out of a lot of people. So many people were afraid to go swimming after this film was made. But what is it about this film that is so appealing after all these years? Well, it has a great level of suspense involved. Because half the time you don't see the shark, but when you do, it is worth the wait. Because it gives that whole perspective that, you're in his world now. Because the ocean is where he rules. And we're just barely there bobbing on the surface. And there is not much you can do about it. That makes the shark alone scary. But what really makes him scary is the fact that close to the end, you start to see that the shark is actually very intelligent. You see him deliberately mislead them with those pontoons, and of course, not to mention, when it starts charging the boat. Robert Shaw says that he's never seen anything like that before. Because remember, he was the professional shark hunter. He's hunted them all, and he's never seen a shark do anything like this. It's like the shark was toying with them. So the idea of an intelligent shark is incredibly scary. There's no doubt that the cast and the storyline made this movie. But one thing that's often overlooked is the special effects themselves actually played a very small role in it. I say that because when Spielberg wanted to do this film, he had some serious problems. The biggest one is the most notoriously famous mechanical shark. We all know this story because it has been talked about so much that it's legendary. Spielberg had a mechanical shark built so he could get that great footage of the shark attacking people or being underwater and all that, especially for the big scenes. Unfortunately, everything went wrong with that. The thing was a piece of junk. But of course, it was 1975, so it's no surprise that the shark didn't work very well. Probably one of the most famous stories is how when they first brought it out to Martha's Vineyard and they put it in the water, the thing sunk to the bottom, and they had to waste an entire day to get it back. With that shark, it literally had Murphy's Law written all over it because everything that could have gone wrong with it did. There is a small piece of information I think y'all should know about. I don't know how many people know this, but the mechanical shark actually had a name. Spielberg named it Bruce after his lawyer. I tell you, the man does not like lawyers, as seen in Jurassic Park. Because the mechanical shark was a failure, he had no choice but to give you the suspenseful approach that the shark is there. You know he's there, but you can't see him because he's under the water. And when you do actually see him, what you're seeing is footage of a shark that was just recorded in the water. And of course, you got the big moments like the shark on the boat. That's the mechanical shark, all right. It's just being used very sparingly. And here's a couple of facts that most people don't know about. Believe it or not, there's actually an alternate ending to Jaws. And here's how it goes. When Spielberg was making this film, he made two endings, and he tested it in front of two audiences at the theaters, a private screening, of course. The first one is the obvious climactic ending where the shark blows up. And the second was an ending where the shark eventually dies of his wounds, which is a little more true to the book itself, where the shark was killed with a spear and they finally just hit the sweet spot. However, the audience loved the explosion best, so he went with it. Now, I don't know if you can actually find that alternate ending out on DVDs in special features or anything like that. I really have no idea. But if you do, you might want to check that out, because it sounds pretty awesome. Another fact that most people don't know about is when they were making the film, Peter Benchley, the author of Jaws, actually helped him quite a bit on the set. Because it was the whole thing of transitioning the book to the movie. And that did not go over very well, I'm afraid, because Peter Benchley kept making such a fuss about how much Spielberg was changing his book that eventually Spielberg had enough and threw him off the set. True story. You can say what you will about the lack of times that you see the shark himself, and of course, all the suspenseful drama, and the fact that it was not 100% true to the book. However, you can't argue with the results because when this film came out, it grossed $260 million in America alone. This movie is a classic, the greatest summer blockbuster that has ever been created. And like I said when I reviewed the movie Duel, Duel may have been the one that kickstarted his career, but this is the one that really made him famous. And of course, for Spielberg, as we know, this was only the beginning of some of the greatest movies that he had ever made. This is Movie Fan, signing off.